I want to play a role-playing game.
Same, but Ted can't make it and Mike and Carol are still out of town.
Can't we play with just the two of us?
Well, that never works out because one of us will be the game master while the other one plays alone.
There has to be something we can play.
We could play that game where you build your character based off the cards you get.
Are you kidding? I always get some wacky combination that doesn't make any sense.
Well, there are a few games where you get to pick one of the characters to play.
I don't want to do that. I want to make up my own character and use it every time we play. That's what makes role-playing games so much fun.
How about Steam Spy?
Ah, Steam Spy! We can both be in the Action No Game Master! Yeah!
I'm going to play Captain Nicholas Bowden, the tough, no-nonsense commander of the steamship the Orcas Holiday. He travels the world working for the Unified Alliance while transporting goods for the Navidad Pharmaceuticals.
I'm going to create Lady Marigold Prescott, a European princess who secretly works as an assassin for M5, and for tonight's adventure, I'll be the antagonist. I'm going to sneak aboard your ship, the Orcas Holiday, to destroy a shipment of drugs being sent to Orisaku Artificials Incorporated, where our intelligence has reported they're being used to create a new race of super soldiers.
That's not true. Those drugs are for humanitarian aid in the South Pacific.
A fine story, but obviously a lie. I'm going to destroy your nefarious plan.
Try.
So how do we do this again?
Alright, well, as the protagonist, I will provide the cards for Navidad Pharmaceuticals, which is the company you're going after. Mix that with your M5 deck, which is the company you, the antagonist, work for.
Oh, I remember that. Then we deal out the beginning cards and we start with an infiltration encounter. I'm going to start by playing a diving bell, which will allow my character to sneak up to the ship, and it may help her with a quick getaway if she needs it. So it begins on a quiet night. Lady Prescott races out on a calm sea in order to catch up with the Orcas Holiday, already on course for the Far East. Her small craft bobs across the larger steamship's wake before sliding up to the hull where she can prepare to board.
So our first initiative card says that as the antagonist, you have to use intelligence. And as the protagonist, I get to choose whichever trait I want. And since I'm a burly guy, I choose body.
That means Lady Prescott is going to attempt to carefully climb over the railing and sneak aboard the ship,
while the captain maintains an intense lookout from the bridge.
I'm going to roll 2 dice for my intelligence and keep the best one for my sneaking. I got a 3 and a 5, so I'm going to keep the 5.
Don't get too excited. The captain rolls 3 dice for his body and keeps 2 for observation. He rolls a 2, a 4, and a 5. So I'm going to keep the 4 and 5 for a total of 9. This means the control slider moves 1 step to protagonist's lead. So the captain has seen something happening on deck. He drops his binoculars and races down the rusty stairs to investigate in person.
Well, the next initiative card says we both have to use charisma, which means the action is bluffing. Lady Prescott takes cover behind a crate as she sees a shadowy figure approaching her position. She looks around and finds a small stone, which she throws across the ship to distract the captain. So I roll 2 dice for my charisma and keep 2 for my bluffing. I got an 11, try to beat that.
Well, Captain Bowden isn't very charismatic, so I only roll 1 die to try to see through your bluff. Well, I rolled a 6, so I get to roll again. And that's a 2, so that's a total of 8.
Not enough. The control slider moves back to antagonist lead.
Well, apparently the captain fell for the old thrown stone trick.
But that doesn't stop me. The last initiative card says I get to choose which trait I use, so I'm going to use intelligence again.
And I'm going to use body again.
Not so fast. This card says you have to use intelligence, and I'm guessing Captain Bowden's not very smart either.
You're right. Once again, I only roll one die. And this time I get a 2.
And I roll an 8. I want to move the slider all the way to antagonist control, and I have successfully infiltrated the ship. And since I'm going after the entire cargo, which is not a person, but it is bigger than an object, I'll choose the sabotage action.
Okay, so it's a new action round, so you have to draw cards back to your hand size.
Okay, and then I'm going to play my toolkit card, which will allow me to use my rewiring skills during the sabotage action.
Well, it might not help me right now, but it could help me later. I'm going to play the latest fashion card.
That's some skirt.
Excuse me, it's a kilt.
Right, anyways, back to business. And I'm going to use disposal to figure out the best method for placing my demolitions. And I roll a 4 plus 1 for my rewiring makes it a 5.
And I use disarming to make sure I've packed my cargo the safest way I can. And I roll a 6, so the slider moves back to antagonist lead.
Next I use destruction to place the explosives. I roll a 6 with my skill bonus.
I use destruction as well. But I get an 8, so the slider moves to protagonist lead. Looks like I got you now.
Uh-oh. I have to make this one to keep from getting caught, so I'm going to use disarming to make sure that you can't stop the cargo from blowing up once it's set. I roll a 10.
Well, I use my knowledge of demolitions to figure out what you've done. But I only roll a 9.
So I win the encounter and get to choose the next action.
Not so fast. I'm going to play my Heather Mackey card. She is the resident scientist on board the Orcas Holiday. That means the next round is an interaction round. I win her to my side, and she'll be able to help me with my intelligence rolls.
Well, since I'm the antagonist, I get to use my intimidation to try to get her to turn on you and join the M5 organization.
Yes, but as the protagonist, I get to use persuasion, and since she's a female, I get to use my seduction skill instead. And I get a bonus because of my latest fashion card. I start things off with a clever opening line roll of a 5.
And I only get a 2 with my willpower.
Well, I get a 4 with my dashing good looks.
Aha, I got a 5 with my even better good looks. Then I move in for a final convincing line and get a 4.
Whew. But I got a 9 using sheer willpower. Turns out she's staying with me. And the slider moves back to my side of the board.
But that doesn't stop me from moving on to my last action. If I win this, I destroy your cargo and win the game.
But since you're trying to destroy a target instead of steal it, you have to win in a fight encounter against me. And I have a new ally to help me out.
I'm not afraid. I have a pocket pistol.
Ah, but I have a switchblade, and I have 2 points in melee.
But I play this interrupt, which prevents you from using your equipment.
So my switchblade's jammed.
Yeah.
But I'll try to use my feint to try to fake you out and lose you in the shadows.
It's no good. I get lucky with a brawn roll and I'm able to intimidate you into staying put. Then I try feinting back and dodging your next attack.
Heather calls out a warning and helps me target your location. I have you now.
I put everything I have into one last attempt to target you.
And I use brawn, my best action type, to keep you from aiming your pistol.
Rolled 11.
And I rolled a 10.
I win! Lady Prescott leaps off the boat just as her demolition charges erupt behind her, destroying the shipment. Now since I won 3 action rounds, as well as winning the game, Lady Prescott gets 4 experience points.
However, Captain Bowden still has 1 experience point from winning the interaction encounter, so he can at least buy 1 skill point.
This is so exciting. I can't wait to see what happens to Lady Marigold Prescott next.
And Captain Nicholas Bowden in the next exciting Steam Spy adventure.